Today, as you're aware, we had a cabinet meeting, and in the cabinet meeting, we had 10 agendas, and out of these 10 agendas, most of them were routine agendas in terms of regularizing certain aspects of certain service rules which needed to be amended. There were four of them, and these are just routine amendments that are required to be made. Otherwise, as you're aware, that the departmental promotions are stopped, and that becomes a problem. And hence, these amended rules have to be in place. So the four rules, service rules, which were amended today was number one, the Meghalaya Accounts Service Rule 1996. The second one was the Meghalaya Local Fund Audit Service Rules 1996 of the principal rules. And then was the amendment of Rule 5 of the Meghalaya State Electricity Regulatory Commission Rules 2003. And the fourth rules that were amended today were the Meghalaya Food and Civil Supplies Rules 2001. As I said, these are basically just basic amendments made in order to incorporate certain OMs. In some cases, certain wordings have to be changed, nomenclature has to be changed. In some cases, because of certain decisions made by the cabinet, certain changes have to be made in the rules to comply to those decisions made in the cabinet. So these are just routine amendments that were required in these four service rules, which were done. Also, we have there was a proposal for the director, post of director for the scenic welfare Meghalaya. As you know, the incumbent Colonel Rai is his term is getting over, and hence there was a selection committee which is headed by the chief secretary, and there were four names that had come in, or four applications that had come in for the post of the director of the scenic welfare Meghalaya, and the selection committee from there have recommended the name of Colonel Darrell Hopkins, retired, to be posted as the director of scenic welfare Meghalaya. Out of the four applicants, Colonel Darrell Hopkins was also the senior most in terms of his ranking. The cabinet approved the proposal that was submitted by the selection committee headed by the chief secretary. Also, there was a proposal to amend the and put an ordinance to the contingency fund of Meghalaya, and the amount had been increased. So the corpus has been increased to 1,000 crores to meet additional demand. Just to clarify with everybody, what contingency basically fund means is a provision within the budgetary system of the government, where once the necessary budget which has been passed by the assembly is exhausted for a particular department, it has to be then moved through a supplementary demand in order to spend more if required. And while the supplementary demands are to be passed by the assembly in the session, the contingency fund allows that provision to be used. Now, this does not mean that we have contingency fund that comes in and we increase the amount in the terms of the cash flow. The cash and the money is already available for expenditure. But because provisions are not there within the budgetary provisions, since the budget was passed by the assembly, we need to move to the contingency. And even now, as I said, since we have cash available for certain expenditures, the provisions have to be created, and hence the contingency limit has to be increased for us to be able to go ahead with those expenditures. And hence this particular provision was incorporated, and an ordinance has been brought in to increase the contingency fund provision and raised it to 1,005 crores. Again, another very routine matter. As you're aware that the GST Council has, in every council meeting, amendments are made to the GST provisions. And as per the provisions that are cleared in the GST Council meeting, the states who are members in the GST Council have to amend their own states Meghalaya Goods and Service, their own states Goods and Services Tax Act. In our case, the Meghalaya Goods and Services Tax 2017. They have to be amended through an ordinance to incorporate the changes that are made by the GST Council, and all state governments have to do this. And hence, there were certain changes and adopted in the GST Council meeting, which were now incorporated, and this ordinance was brought in to regularize those decisions made by the GST Council in our own Meghalaya Goods and Services Tax Act 2017. Also, we had a decision today. There is the implementation of the Swachh Bharat Mission is, as you're aware, Swachh Bharat Mission Plus, Gramin Plus is going on. And in that, because of the challenges that are faced by the Public Health and Engineering Department, since the PHE department is also implementing the Jal Jeevan program, and because of the shortage of manpower to implement the Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin Plus, the decision was made today by the cabinet to transfer the implementation of the Swachh Bharat Gramin from PHE department to the CNRD department. This is being done because of 2-3 reasons. Number one, the CNRD department has the manpower at the grassroots level to implement the project, and this has been discussed with CNRD department. Number two, most of the states in the country are doing that even today for the same reason, that CNRD department of respective state governments have the necessary machinery and manpower in the CNRD department to implement the Swachh Bharat Gramin program in a much faster and better manner. And number three, in a recent review meeting that was held with Jal Shakti Ministry, the minister and the secretary and government officials of Government of India have suggested to Government of Meghalaya to also shift the implementation from PHE, Community and Rural Development Department. It's just the same thing, same project, all the aspects are same. It's just that the implementing agency will shift from PHE now to CNRD.